Welcome into the pregame report here. We've got a good one on hand. We've got Iowa, we've got Nebraska, a good game on tap. And we are going to be joined by Chelsie Brown here. And Chelsie, for this matchup, Iowa and Nebraska, what are we looking at? What are the vibes around in the stadium like right now? Yeah, it should be a really fun one today. And we talk about how close this game has been. So Iowa's won 9 out of the last 10, which kind of seems lopsided. But you look at the last 7 matchups, they've been decided by 1 possession, which is just crazy to think about how Iowa can come out on the right end so many times in these games. Are you expecting something similar today? Are you expecting another close one? I know Nebraska kind of dealing with a backup quarterback today. Yeah, and it should be a good one. Well, let's take a listen to some of the players that, ahead of this game. Them talking about what this matchup is going to look like. So it should be a good one. We're excited for it. You mentioned Kirk Ferentz there talking about how, this one it's always, it's always going to be close. And, part of what the close game kind of brings is this rivalry aspect to it. This is a rivalry that really picked up, 2011 when it started out regularly. Chelsie, how do these two teams, how do you think they feel about each other? All right, thank you, Chelsie. We're hearing that we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here, so we'll have to let you go. The audio for you isn't popping up apparently, so we'll let you go for now. We'll continue on with this pregame report. Start talking about what the lookout for this game is. So what Chelsie was saying, these two teams, really are not fans of each other. You saw last year having that not the lack of handshakes at the beginning of the game, so it kind of creates a little bit of a disdain for one another, and Matt Rule kind of spoke about it earlier this week, saying he's not very happy with the way that this thing is the way it's all gone for his group, and that he was asked if there was bad blood, and he mentioned there's he kind of indirectly said there's a little bit of they didn't like how Iowa goes out, wins the game last year, and is able to tell him, Merry Christmas and everything like that. So it was not exactly ideal for the Cornhuskers for last year. So they're coming out, they're really wanting to grab a win, but it's going to be tough for them because they just do not have their quarterback. They don't have their they don't have Dylan Raiola, of course, got hurt, and there's some concerns with that his younger brother decommitted, so maybe a little bit of distractions around this Iowa program. Coming into this one a little bit unusual, but who knows, they can always play through that one. But it'll be interesting to see with this team kind of what happens, as we'll go ahead and take a listen to what Matt Rule had to say. Mm-hmm. Apologies there. We seem to be having some audio issues today. So Matt Rule was speaking about what's been kind of a struggle so far this year, with having a little bit of issues when it came to having that handshake. They get told Merry Christmas, and Matt Rule said, "quote to the victor goes the spoils." So it was this Nebraska team's going to be coming in a little bit more intensity coming into this one. It should be fun. It should be a fun game for the Heroes Trophy. And we'll see how it goes with, Iowa. There's a couple players, but this rivalry does. The reason it's so strong is because there are a ton of ties when it comes to this rivalry. You have Logan Jones, who, of course, he grew up just outside of Omaha, and he was told, by Nebraska, he said he was told he was too small. He commits to Iowa, and the day after he commits to Iowa is when Nebraska go ahead and offers him there, and so he was glad, he's happy that they waited and that Iowa was able to offer him first, and he committed there. And by the time Nebraska came in, it was too late. So there's some of those local connections that hit close to home for some of these Iowa players. And it should be a fun one. I think if we're looking at what to expect from this game, we're expecting a little bit of a close game. And you may not be able to hear, we apologize for that. They were talking about, this is always, it's going to be a close game. And Matt Rule was actually in a press conference earlier in the week saying that, in the past, Nebraska, the trademark of their program, hasn't been good in close games. He said, he thinks has changed now, but we'll see if that is the case for today. He mentioned that Iowa has this superpower. Iowa's superpower is that they're good in close games. And I know Iowa has a couple of those close losses, but those were to very good teams. That was the Oregon, that was the Indiana, and USC. So some very good teams that are those close losses that separate them. But maybe when it comes to teams that are more around, that Iowa, I guess, tier ranking, when it comes to college football programs, they're going to come out on the right side in close ones. We'll see if this one is close, because I think maybe Iowa learned their lesson against Michigan State. We were expecting them to go ahead and blow Michigan State out of the water right off the bat. They did not exactly do that. So we'll see if they kind of learned their lesson. They mentioned fast starts is what they want to have. They haven't really had a fast start all season. That's kind of been the story of the season. And Mark Gronowski constantly in press conferences has been saying, we don't have the answer at this point. Last week he finally said, he's been saying throughout the year, we want to go ahead and start faster, but they haven't been able to start faster so far. So we'll see if they can go ahead and get a quick start in this one. It should be fun. Gronowski said, and I think this past week, he's like, it'd be nice if we had an answer at this point. He was being pretty candid with everyone in the press conference. So we'll see how that all goes and how this team is able to react to all of this. And it should be fun for sure. But so Heroes Trophy game, kicking off in just about a half hour here on Black Friday. It really should be fun, and of course the players are going to have fun with being on the road in Nebraska. Kamari Bolton the other day saying that it's going in enemy territory. It's fun because everyone wants to see him fail, and they're going to try to come in and succeed. And it's a fun rivalry that's picked up a lot of steam over the past few years, especially. It felt like a lot of fans were saying it was forced upon at first, but now it's natural. Now it's starting to fit, and it's a rivalry that's earned itself with all of these close games. Of course, the last 7 coming down to the wire. So we'll see how Nebraska, with their backup quarterback TJ Lateef, can answer versus Iowa today, and how Iowa can go ahead and attack this Nebraska team. Iowa's played a couple of backup quarterbacks so far this year with, Penn State, Drew Aller was out, so they had a backup against Penn State. So we'll see if they can go in and answer the bell defensively when it comes into this one. So it should be fun. We'll have coverage tonight on KCRG TV9 at 10 o'clock, post-game coverage. So make sure you tune in for that. But that's all for now. Enjoy the game. And happy late Thanksgiving to everyone, and enjoy the Black Friday.